Hi, 你们好. In this video, we're going to learn how to write a Chinese imaginative text 101. For imaginative writing style, some suitable text types are short story, letter, poem, journal entry, magazine article, etc. This session uses short story text type as an example and follows short story writing conventions. Actually, short story text type is one of the most common text types in the imaginative writing in BCE Chinese second language. You can imagine as widely as you can when writing an imaginative short story, but the following features need to be observed. First, you need to have a clear structure, the introduction, body, and conclusion. Secondly, you need to have a line of comprehensible action for the reader to follow. Okay, which also means you need to have one storyline. Because you can't have complex storylines because at BCE Chinese second language, you only need to write very basic and functional level of an imaginative text. And also at the BCE Chinese second language, it only requires around 200 to 250 characters limit, and this limit does not include punctuation. Okay, so bear in mind, you only need to write a line of comprehensible action. For the structure, for introduction, you need to introduce the characters, the place and surroundings, the time, and the start of the events. So here I have an example. Okay, so this introduction will give you some basic information about the story that is going to be unfolded later. Okay, 昨天我发现我的电子邮箱里有一封信，是嫦娥姐姐发给我的。信里面写着，欢迎你来我家玩。Okay, see how much you can understand in this introduction? I have English translation here. Yesterday, I found inside my email there was a letter sent by Sister Chang'e. In the letter it wrote, "You're welcome to my home to have fun." So Chang'e is in Chinese Asian culture, she is the moon goddess. And this character is in an ancient Chinese legend, and this legend has also relation with the Mid-Autumn Festival in China. Okay, so you just need to know that Chang'e is a legendary figure in the ancient Chinese text or story. Okay, so through the translation, you can find out that the characters are I and Sister Chang'e, okay? And the place and the surroundings is at Chang'e's home, which is the moon. And the time, okay, this happened yesterday. And the start of the event is going to Chang'e's home to have fun. Okay, clear? So you can see this introduction has included these 4 elements. Next, look at the body. So in the body, you need to start to build up gradual suspense with step-by-step action leading up to the climax of the story. Bear in mind you need to keep one line of action to avoid the reader becoming confused. And let people, animals, creatures as the characters speak. You can use direct speech, comments, and exclamations to liven up your story. And clearly walk up to a climax using simple and effective language. Okay, so we look at the example. So, let's see how much you can understand. I will read through it. 今天早上，我开心地坐上宇宙飞船飞到月球。过了一会儿，我到了月球，看到嫦娥姐姐来接我。月球好大好美丽，我在月宫里休息了一会儿。然后嫦娥姐姐说：“我们一起去散步吧。”刚走出月宫， 外面的景色真漂亮。突然，我们走到了一座大楼。我问嫦娥姐姐这是什么？她说，这里有很多科学家在工作，研究如果人们不想住在地球上了，如何来月球上住。这里很干净，没有一点儿灰尘，我们能住在月球上就好了。So this is the whole body part. Okay, see how much you can understand. I'll show you the English version. This morning, I happily took the spaceship to fly to the moon. After a while, I arrived at the moon and saw Sister Chang'e come to pick me up. The moon is so big and beautiful. I rested a bit in the moon palace. Then Sister Chang'e said, let's go for a walk. As soon as we walked out of the moon palace, the landscape outside was so beautiful. Suddenly, we walked to a big building. I asked Sister Chang'e what it was. She said, there are many scientists working here, doing research on if people don't want to live on Earth anymore, how they can move to the moon to live. It is so clean here, without a speck of dust. How I wish I can live on the moon. So you can see this underlined part is the climax of this body part. So you can see for the body, the suspense was built up gradually through the one line of action. So the one line of action is I visited Chang'e, and so upon my visit, she took me around and showed me around the moon and like make me have fun and see what it was like there, right? So this is the line of the action that build up this suspense along the way. And direct speech was also used to bring the livelihood of the characters. So you can see Chang'e, her quote, her direct speech was used here. Okay, the climax of the story was clearly reached and she said there are many scientists. So you can see the whole body, basically the story was building up slowly, and finally here is the climax. So in the climax, it is the place where the purpose of the story is revealed, and you know the answer, or you know what's the meaning, or what's the message of the story in the body part. So that's why here is the climax. Okay, so do you understand the body part now? Last one is the conclusion. So you just need to round off your story with a conclusion. So based on the story, how do you want to conclude the story? You can just, run wild with your imagination. You can say, I love here, I love the moon, I just want to stay here forever, I don't want to go back anymore. Or you can say, it inspires me, and I want to use the research from the scientists here to develop the Earth in a better way. It's all up to you. Okay, so what I conclude is, 一天很快过去了，我坐宇宙飞船回了家。我马上开始计划再去月球，和嫦娥姐姐见面。Okay, so soon a day had passed. I took a spaceship back home. I immediately started to plan to go to the moon and meet with Sister Chang'e. Okay, so that's the conclusion of this story. Okay, now you can see this is the whole imaginative short story text. And this is the introduction, the first paragraph, and the body, and the conclusion. Okay, 3 paragraphs altogether. And each paragraph has the 2-character indentation at the first line. Okay, so altogether there are 233 Chinese characters. So this length is totally enough for you at VCE Chinese second language level. All right, good job.